We've talked about the brushes. Now we're going to move down and talk about the propeller and the zinc. A couple things on these. Obviously your zinc, just like the shaft zinc on your boat, really important to protect the metal components. Same thing on these. We're going to do it on this one first. We're going to take a look at a couple of other ones. But let me show you for a real quick sec what we're protecting. This is a cutaway of the tailpiece down here. All the metal components on these things we need to be careful with. And if we end up eating this up, we're going to eat up the gears, we're going to eat up the gear housing, and this is going to be turned into a piece of garbage. So real important change of zincs. Depending on where you are, maybe once a season is fine. If you're in an area with a lot of galvanic action, you might want to do it more often. Send a diver down. These can be done in the water. On this unit, changing the zinc is really basic. Certainly just a screw on, prop replacement, same kind of thing. Literally just put a nut, a wrench on here, take this nut off, and it's keyed. It'll slide right off. Okay, that's the first type we've got. A mention about these propellers. They're Delrin. They're a very good, very strong material, but if you're using an acid cleaner on your boat to clean barnacles off, do not put it on the propeller. It'll damage the propellers. These propellers will take a lot of abuse, but they will not take acid cleaners. So if in doubt, take the propeller off, or just don't acid clean the inside of your thruster tunnel. So we've gone through this one. We can take a look at a couple others. This is the Bow 95. This is one of our kind of mid-sized thrusters. Obviously the one up before was one of the larger ones. Little bit different configuration as far as the zinc and the propeller goes. Same care and feeding on it, but it does come off a little bit differently. This particular one uses 2 clamshells, we're going to call them. And each half of that clamshell is held on by a sheet metal screw. So pretty straightforward. We take those out. Now that we have the screws out, we're going to take these 2 clamshells off, and they just slide out of the way. And you pull them off. You will notice there's a little pin on each one. You take a look, say the other side, exactly the same thing, pull it out. These pins go into little holes here and here, and that makes sure that your screws line up properly and everything goes together. If you don't, you really can't get the screws in straight. This is really just for alignment. Removing the propeller, just pull. You'll notice there's a pin behind the propeller. The pin goes through the shaft here. It's easier to turn it sideways to get it on. That pin engages in a slot in the back of the propeller. So whenever you install one of these, you want to make sure that you put the prop on and turn it until that pin engages. And you'll feel it actually kind of slide on. Now, when you've got the prop off, this style thruster and most of our smaller ones have the zinc behind the propeller. If you go down to your boat and you look and there's a big gap here, either the prop's not on tight or your zinc is eaten away, and that's kind of the warning that you need to do something. The zincs are held on with 2 Allen screws. Pretty straightforward. You basically just go in, break them loose. There's 2. Buy replacement zinc. Please buy our replacement zincs. They're made for our thrusters. They're not that expensive, and they're protecting your investment in your thruster. So, and damage to your gearbox. I'm going to show you one last thruster. And this is the Bow 55. It's a little bit lighter than the other 2. Same idea, same type of care and feeding. The only difference is the prop comes on and off a little bit differently. So in this case, it just comes off with a wrench, small nut. Back behind the nut, there is a small plastic washer and then a metal washer. This unit, zinc exactly the same. 2 bolts, Allen heads, right behind the propeller. So we've got everything back together. Assuming we put a new zinc on, it's time to reassemble it. What we want to make sure is that we've got the prop fully seated. We have the prop fully seated on the shaft and on that pin in particular. So if we have that gap, all we want to do is give it a little push. Close right up. Now ready to reassemble. So once again, washer, nylon washer, nut, tighten it up, and we're done. There you have it. Showing you a few of our basic thrusters and all the maintenance that they have in common to keep you up and running. So the more you take care of it, the better it'll take care of you. Please check out the rest of our videos at Vetus.com.